Good evening, Mr. Ky Boyle.
Good evening. How are you, Francis?
I'm very well, thank
Good,
you.
good.
I have two questions for you for this evening.
Terrific, terrific.
We realize that your important role as CMP is a senior vice president, and you have worked with many agents around the world. Would you please tell us what makes USIS Vietnam different from others agents?
Interesting question. Understanding that the ingredients behind any successful business is knowing what the customer wants and being able to deliver that to the clients, and that's long-term approach. Short-term approach is just fix their needs and be done with it. But the long-term approach is understanding the investors or understanding what the customers or the clients want and being able to fulfill those needs consistently time after time. And I think that's this thing that separates Chris and the USIS team from many other agencies, the run-of-the-mill, the plain vanilla, standard templated agencies anywhere in the world, is the fact that they have top quality associates. Their counselors are well trained, they're friendly, they're knowledgeable, and Chris has always taken the time, and the USIS team has always taken the time to listen to what the client's needs are and then go about meeting those needs consistently time after time. So by putting the customer first is the one thing that sets the USIS team apart from many other agencies throughout the world.
I see. So based on your experience, what do you see as a key challenge for Vietnamese EB5 investor, and what are your advice for them for the time being?
There's a couple of things that I see coming with the close of the 2015 year. What's happening is that the EB5 program needs to be renewed or extended in some way by the U.S. Congress. That needs to be done legislatively to extend the program. Now, it has always been extended. There's never been a time when the program hasn't had the legislative support, but it goes through this process every so often, every 3 years. This time, with the change or the extension of the program, there will also be changes. One of those changes that I am fully aware of is that the cost, the expense for the minimum amount of investment is going to go up. It's going to go up from $500,000, the minimum investment for a project in a TEA or a targeted employment area, to $750,000 or $800,000. So that's a particular challenge that everyone in the world is going to face, and it's a challenge that the Vietnamese investors should be aware of, because the amount of investment going up that significantly also means that the proof of funds, the source of funds, the path of funds that has to be presented to the USCIS with their application also has to be identified for that larger amount, and that takes some additional time. So today's planning to affect an investment by the time the law changes or any of the changes that then may be coming forward is important. So challenge number one, do your planning, knowing that if you are going to invest, now is the time to invest. The savings may be significant, $300,000, $250,000 or more. So that's challenge number one. Challenge number two is the same. We always recommend at CMB that the investors do their homework, do your due diligence. Make sure that the project that you're looking at is going to be able to demonstrate to you sufficiently that they'll be able to create enough jobs. Because for a permanent green card through the EB5 program, the investor, yes, they must make the investment, but the jobs are the requisite amount. They have to be able to create 10 jobs for every investor. So number one, is it likely that the jobs will be created? Secondarily, who is operating the regional center? Who's operating the project? Look at who that group is or that team is. Do they have any experience? Have they gotten an I-526 petition, for example, that initial qualifying petition approved for any investor in any project? Right. Do they have I-829 petitions approved, permanent green card petitions approved in any project for any investor? Have they repaid investors? What's their background? So there's a lot of things to look at inside the project itself. Is it likely that the project will succeed in creating the jobs? And then secondarily, look at the regional center. What's their history? Have they been able to do what they proposed to do? Have they been able to demonstrate that they've succeeded for every investor, or any investor for that matter? So those are two key ingredients for the Vietnamese investors. The cost is going to go up, and then secondarily, once you've decided to move forward, now's the time, but make sure that you're looking very carefully at the project and doing your homework, do your due diligence before you invest.
Well, that's very useful advice. Thank you very much, Mr. Ky Boyle.